On this first motherfucking episode of Meet the Plug, I want to share some of my WordPress origins and how I started fresh on WordPress, all the way to getting accepted as a speaker to a flagship WordPress conference called WordCamp Europe. Then we're going to touch on some of the hottest trends in tech and what you should be looking out for in 2024 and beyond. Finally, we'll act like a convertible and top off the episode with a little insight for you entrepreneurs, and content creators on why you may not want to start a business. In other words, to be or not to be a business owner in this economy.
Wait, last thing. I'm also gonna need that extended warranty on it for the price of on the house.
That I can't do.
Now don't be a Negro, be my nigga. All right, help me out.
Hold on.
It was at this moment that he knew. He fucked up.
No, he don't need no help. He's already been served. I served him. He's taken care of. He's a little slow, but he got it. See, what he thought was he could come up in here and make the rules, but now he see that Jay make the rules, that I run this bitch, and now he about to bounce.
So without any further ado, let's jump right in it. But first, let me plug in that intro. I'm your host, Maestro Stevens, the Fresh Prince of WordPress, and your plug-in for the plugins. On this podcast, we discuss everything in the world of WordPress, trends in tech, and making big business moves. So stay tuned as we deliver you a silver spoon of the juice, straight, no chaser, to you content creators. Now welcome to Meet the Plug WP, where we deal dope tech shit. Is that okay with everybody? Okay. I'm just letting y'all know right now, the energy is gonna get brought up once this presentation starts. Like I see everybody here, I worked very, very hard, came a very long way to entertain y'all today and teach y'all a little something, okay? So when we get started, I'm just letting y'all know, as I go on the presentation, you're gonna see the energy gradually go up. Right now, we gonna be calm, just so I don't scare y'all. But as things go, we gonna go up, okay? Like planes in the air. And we ain't coming down till we done. All right, so I want to start this off on a high note because for me, this was a peak moment in time. And I know there's a lot of people out there, there's someone listening to this, whereas they're going through their journey, they are going through their struggles, their challenges, and they just really need something that signals to them, whatever it is that they're doing and they've been going through, that it's worth it. And we need those every now and then when we on this journey, this crazy shit. And that's why I really wanted to just kind of react to my own workshop presentation. And this was set in Athens, Greece for WordCamp Europe. For those who don't know what a WordCamp is, it's basically a big WordPress conference. I would suggest that you look it up. There's one in Europe, there's one in Asia, and there's one in US. I'll be playing in future episodes my experience from those as well too. But this is something that I think that a lot of people out there, no matter what your field is, you should strive to get to what you believe is that symbolism in your life. You feel me? It's that thing or that moment or whatever it is that lets you fucking know you that shit. And nobody else has to tell you. You just know you that shit. I'm gonna play a little bit more of my intro. I'm not gonna play the whole workshop, but I just want to let y'all know some of the intro is inspiration to this podcast itself. I like to reuse certain themes and either metaphors or innuendos and jokes or Easter eggs. And this was set in 2023. 2023 is when I did this workshop for WordCamp Europe in Athens, Greece. But let's get back into it. I don't know how many people are going to be here. At this point, it doesn't matter. I perform in front of 100, 1,000, or 1. I'm going to give 100% regardless. I do feed off the energy of the crowd, though, and I have created a chant that I'm looking at everybody's eyes intentionally right now to see how daring you're going to be today to sing a short chant with me on WordPress. I'm fresh, off the block, and that's my word, WordPress. Now, I said it very bland and simple intentionally for you guys, without putting no umph into it to show you how simple it can be. If you can't do it that simple, I don't know. I'm going to do it again with a little more jazz, okay? I'm fresh, off the block, and that's my WordPress, and press. I'm fresh, off the block, and that's my WordPress, and press. Okay, I'm fresh, off the block, and that's my WordPress, and press again. I'm fresh, off the block, and that's my WordPress, and press. One more time. I'm fresh, off the block, and that's my word. She got it. My WordPress, and press. One more time. I'll trick y'all. I'm fresh, off the block, and that's my WordPress, and press. Okay, I'm a little impressed. Get the press, WordPress. Y'all, come on, man.
Yeah. So I know the audio sucked. But let's look past that, okay? Let's look at it for the content. Because it took a level of confidence to even pull that off. Now, I know you couldn't hear the people in the background that well, and that's because I was wearing a lapel or a lavalier mic on me. And because I was chanting, it was overshadowing everybody else's vocals. However, there definitely was people in the workshop that participated in that chant. It took them a few times, but once they got comfortable, they participated. And it just showed me that you can be unique in your style of presenting when it comes to not just the content itself, but even the icebreaker. As corny as it may be, or as corny as stuff like that may seem, it really does help give people that you're presenting to a level of comfortability and trust in you, that if you're willing to do something kind of silly or something that takes a level of confidence outside of your normal educational skill set or instructor type skill set, that they're more likely to really get involved during your presentation. So I just want to do something different, something new. And the presentation itself is called Fresh Off the Block. So that's the reason why I made the theme what it was. All right, let's get back to the rest of the clip.
It's just hot. Athens is hot. Athens, you know what I'm saying? I'm sweating because it's hot, right? It's real hot. But I thank y'all for joining. We're at the 1 minute. I was, letting people kind of trickle in and stuff. So I'm gonna just kind of get into the introduction and all that stuff, all that jazz. And then as people come in, we'll really get deep and dive, we'll deep dive into everything we're talking about today. So how's everybody feeling, first of all? Everybody all right? All right. Everybody came a long way? Pretty short? So nobody traveled hundreds of thousands of miles to get here? Yeah, we have William as well too. Nobody else, huh? All right. So yeah, I've been waiting for this day for almost 2 months. I prepared really hard. I've been through a lot to be here. I was just in Albania 2 days ago. And let me tell you, that was a trip. I had to take a train to a plane to a taxi to a ferry to get to Albania. Lovely people here in Greece as well too. But I've been learning a lot about different cultures since I've been in Eastern Europe, which is a little different than the Western Hemisphere. So my mind and brain has been open to a degree that has never been before from an experience standpoint. And that's something that I'm aiming to bring to the table for you all today, every single person here. Yes, the topic is about templates, and I'm gonna tell you right now, a lot of you guys know about templates already, let's be honest, but I'm gonna put a fresh perspective on it, give you guys a little bit of jazz, a little bit of entertainment as well, because one thing I did, and I studied everybody's workshop for the past 2 years. Yes, I did, I watched every single one. I wanted to see what people were doing, their mannerisms, how excited people were in the room. I wanted to be different, and I also wanted to model what worked. And one thing I did notice was I felt like a lot of the workshops were a little monotone. Now, I'm not sure if that's a WordPress thing, or that's just a geek thing, or that's just an art thing, but I want to bring a little cultural flavor, if that makes sense, into this. I don't think we have a lot of that in WordPress sometimes. So that's what I'm going to be bringing to the table today on top of the templates. And I'm hoping you guys will, rock out with me a little bit. I'm also going to walk around this stage too, because I saw everybody be standing right here. So if I move from the, mic, does that affect your guys' recording? Yes. It does? Yeah. Do you want the handheld mic? Yeah, let me get the handheld. I'm moving. Come on, baby, we moving. We ain't standing still. We got to go. We on a mission today. Shoot. I told people this is going to be the best workshop that anybody has been to in a very long time, if ever, and I was going to make an historic landmark today. Thank you.
And I meant every bit of that shit. After all the time spent working on that presentation and all the check boxes that I had to tackle to get to that moment in time, yeah. I don't know about you, but I was going to make sure I made these people understand where I stand by the end of it all. After starting this WordPress journey in 2018 and getting my first plugin from AppSumo, right? It was a lifetime deal for a plugin called Analytify. I didn't know shit back then, y'all. And I had no idea I would be a speaker at a WordPress conference across the globe. Not back then. But I did know, coming in as a non-developer, non-designer, and more of a webmaster type of mindset, I had a lot to learn and a lot of growing to do. So for those of y'all who are new to WordPress, don't get bogged down on all the nuances as far as the technical aspect of WordPress, because that ain't going nowhere, y'all. What you need to do is learn about the community and the camaraderie and the connections and the lessons that you learn because you are using WordPress. So therefore you have a certain type of relatability with others that are using WordPress. And it just creates a different you, in my opinion. Now, some people, it creates the worst of them. Because this shit will get on your nerves. And for others, it can create the best of you. Because it's a challenge or it's a gateway of opportunity that you've been looking for the entire time. So this is something that I wanted to share with you all, because even though it's not my most recent speaking event, it is the first one that I spoke overseas in another country, and I had to do a lot to get there. And it was the first time that I felt everything was coming together as far as my aspirations to become a speaker or in to travel the world. And this was my gateway drug into that situation, into that possibility. Hey, into the reality. Fuck it. I'm going to just say it like that. So hopefully you've gotten a little bit of something out of this segment of That's My Word.
Say another motherfucking word, and this shit is over. And I ain't playing, nigga.
Now let's move into our next segment called Dope Tech Shit. This segment is for my tech heads and my tech aficionados out there, or my tech experts, my tech geeks, anyone that appreciates, that adopts, or loves to adapt to tech and trends. This is for you. So right now, I want to share some information from a article that has a research report attached to it. And this was from McKinsey. McKinsey is a marketing or a strategy and consulting company. That's a better way to say it. They specialize in a lot of different things, but their research reports are pretty on point. I'll definitely give McKinsey a credibility factor, or many credibility factors. But this report right here really intrigued me because it just kind of gives you an overall look at the market of technology, you know, what is happening out there. For those of you that are in tune with the moves, this shit ain't nothing new for you, you know, or maybe this may be a refresher. But for those of you who need a little perspective on what you may want to be looking out for moving forward, moving in 2025 and beyond, because the reality is, if you're not getting with it, you getting behind it. Technology is progressing at a crazy ass rate. And I know we still have people out there that are still hating on AI and hating on a lot of technologies out there. You know we got some haters out there, and that's all good. We all got the opportunity to feel how we want to feel. However, it's here, it's happening, and there's nothing you can do about it. That's why this report really did touch home for me, because I love market research reports, especially ones that are full reports, because full reports can cost you a lot of money. Professional reports that come from data and analysis companies, data research companies, these things could really rack up them pockets of yours. So just being able to get a report from a company that's credible and it's free. I mean, all they're asking you is for an email and your name. That to me is priceless. But I love it when they do a recap with an article that helps break down some of the key points. You can go look this article up. Again, it's called McKinsey Technology Trends Outlook 2024. I'm just going to go over a few different sections on this article because you can read the rest for yourself, but some things that kind of pointed out to me, and then we can have a discussion wherever you are, however you use or however you're listening to this. You know, make sure that you comment, let me know what it is you think about this and what are your feelings about technology and the trends moving forward. All right, so here I'm going to just read this quick first paragraph so I can just get you guys, you know, a little bit of understanding of where this article is going. I'll read you a couple more paragraphs, and then we're going to go over the charts and graphs because they have some really nice visuals. I know there's some of you all out there that appreciate the visuals a lot more, and since this podcast is audio, I got to break it down. I got to paint the picture for you in a way to where you can imagine it, to where you can see it. I want you to see this. You know what I'm saying? I want you to see it. But we're going to start off with just some of the written word. All right. So the article starts off with, despite challenging overall market conditions in 2023, continuing investments in frontier technologies promise substantial future growth in the enterprise adoption. Generative AI has been a standout trend since 2022. With the extraordinary uptick in interest and investment in this technology unlocking innovative possibilities across interconnected trends such as robotics and immersive reality. While the macroeconomic environment with elevated interest rates has affected equity capital investment and hiring, underlying indicators, including optimism, innovation, and longer-term talent needs, reflect a positive long-term trajectory in the 15 technology trends we analyzed. So right there, they're letting you know that they've checked out 15 different technology trends. And some of the main things that they're really looking at is generative AI and macroeconomic environments and how that has been affected as well too. So I'm gonna skip down to a section called New and Notable. And I just wanna read this part real quick. The two trends that stood out in 2023 were Gen AI and electrification and renewables. Gen AI has seen a spike in almost 700% in Google searches from 2022 to 2023, along with a notable jump in job postings and investments. So that's crazy right there. I'll pause it right there. 700%. Gen AI has seen a tick in 700% in Google searches from 2022 to 2023. If that don't tell y'all or tell you something about where we are with Gen AI and where it's going, I don't know what else to tell you, because that's a lot of increase. That's a huge increase, a major increase. 700, not 100, 700%. Yeah, that's crazy. But for the most part, what I will say is that you have to look at it from a perspective of people who are searching because they are in the need or they're interested, and people who are searching because they are actually creating with. They're already in the space. You know, it's not just a search to become aware, but a search because you want to get to whatever the next level you want to get to. And I believe it's a combination of both of those types of searches. And the reason why I state that is because just because somebody is looking into something doesn't mean that's the outcome that they're going to go, or that's the way that they want to go, you know? So you got to think about it that way. All right, so let's go over a few of the charts and graphs that we have here and key points that they have here on the rest of this article. And then I'll let you do your own due diligence and take a look at the article and look at the details. But I just want to go over some of the key points that they have here in their charts and in some of their graphs and visuals as well. So for this first one, it's a chart they call Exhibit 1, and it's tech trend job postings. And the headline is, despite a 1-year drop in job postings, demand for jobs in many technology trends has increased over 2 years. Increased, like Mr. Creasy, Man of Fire, Denzel. But yeah, this is something that is interesting because there are a lot of things happening right now in the job market. I'm not sure if you heard of a term called ghosting or job ghosting. And if I'm fucking it up, just, hey, you get what I'm talking about. But look it up, because it's a real thing, where basically job seekers are posting jobs that they're not really hiring for, at least not at that moment. Or they may take down that posting later, but they just want to collect candidates and interest in it. Now, job ghosting, is kind of like relationship ghosting. When you go on a date, or you're supposed to go on a date, you're supposed to meet that person, and they never show up. It's some shit like that. Job ghosting. But you would think that would stop the technology world. And based on what they're saying here, despite the 1-year drop in job postings, demand for jobs in many trends has increased over 2 years. And right now on the chart, I can see generative AI is doing well. I'm looking at the cumulative change between 2021 and 2023. I can see climate technologies and beyond electrification renewables is doing well. Future of mobility is doing well. Electrification and renewables is doing well. Industrializing machine learning is doing well. Future of space technologies is doing well. And quantum technologies is also doing well. So these are just some examples some of the 15 technologies that McKinsey has looked at in this report. And I just wanted to share with you all some of the ones that are doing well in terms of job demand and postings. Now let's talk about the second exhibit that they have here, this graph. And in this exhibit, it is about the adoption curve of technology trends. So if you can picture an adoption curve, a graph, and it goes from the top to the bottom, it has higher adoption, and on the bottom it has lower adoption, and that's on the y-axis. And then on the x-axis, from the left to right, it has these 5 categories here, and that's what they're using as the adoption score. It has frontier innovation, experimenting, piloting, scaling, and fully scaled. Those are the 5 phases or categories they're using in this chart here to help us learn, where are these types of technologies? Where are they within the technology stage when it comes to large scale adoption, from innovation to fully scaled? And they have some examples for the scaling category here as like advanced connectivity, applied AI, cloud and edge computing, generative AI. And their key point here, it says technologies progress through different stages, with some at the leading edge of innovation and others approaching large scale adoption. And that is their headline for this chart here. So this is really interesting to see. And for example, like for frontier innovation, they have future of space technologies and quantum technologies. I mean, that sounds like some frontier innovation Star Trek type shit right there, right? Don't it? And this is something that I like to be able to visualize. I like to be able to see, just to have an understanding, especially for those going into more of the entrepreneurial route when it comes to technology. But even for those who are job seekers, who are looking to find a job, this is important for you to know, because companies that can't scale eventually will have to sail or sell, however you want to say that shit. And if they can't sell or, offer themselves in the market, well, then they're going to go kapoof kapaya, sayonara, and they're going to be gone. And so you got to think about that. If you can't scale in these days, you're going to be gone. So if you're too stuck in the frontier innovation and experimentation phases, and for example, here in the experimentation phase, number 2, they have climate technologies, future bioengineering, future of mobility, future of robotics, immersive reality technologies, things like that. That's a lot of experimentation right there. If you can't get past the experimentation phase, how are you going to get funding? How are you going to get trust? How are you going to get a viable product for the market? So you can get stuck there if you're looking for a job or you're looking to create business in those technologies. You got to be careful with that experimentation phase. That's what I'm taking from this chart here, is where we want to look at when it comes to a industry or a technology being in the frontier innovation, being in those beginning stages, going into the fully scaled stages. And what does that look like as far as their hiring process, how many people that they work with? Because if you're fully scaled, as I just mentioned, you're talking about generative AI, cloud edge computing. You're talking about a lot of technologies that can replace human beings. So I would say that those jobs are going to be more scarce. Now for this next exhibit, exhibit 3, they have a bar graph here. And so on this bar graph, we have it says self-reported adoption level by Tech Trend 2023. And there's a headline here that says, more mature technologies are more widely adopted, often serving as enablers for more nascent technologies. It looks like NASA, y'all, but it says nascent, Nascent. I've never seen that word before. But I'll repeat this. I'll read this again. More mature technologies are more widely adopted, often serving as enablers for more nascent technologies. Let me go look up nascent real quick. All right, nascent, especially of process or organization, just coming into existence and beginning to display signs of future potential. Okay, so beginning. Okay, that makes sense. So things that are more adopted, that people are using more, give space, open up doors for things that are newer. Okay, that makes sense, right? So on this chart here, we have self-reported adoption level. Now, I wonder what that self-reported means, because that's an interesting term to use, right? But we have things like cloud and edge computing, advanced connectivity, and generative AI. They have a lot in the scaling and fully scale phases here, where they're investing time and resources for scaling and fully scaled. They are scaly and fully scaled. Now, when it comes to, let's say, but people are not investing in, when it comes to technology, we have future of space technologies, quantum technologies, and future robotics. They're not really investing a lot in those. Those aren't being as widely adopted based on what I'm looking at this chart. They have these 5 categories here. They have not investing, experimenting, piloting, scaling, and fully scaled. And then they have the 15 different technologies. Most of the technologies have the same percentage when it comes to experimenting and piloting. So we could just knock that off the board right there. When it comes to experimenting and piloting, most technologies have the same percentage. From when it comes to not investing, that's where things differ, because cloud and edge computing, generative AI, advanced connectivity, applied AI, they seem to be investing more than not investing. When it comes to not investing, we have future of bioengineering, future of robotics, quantum technologies, and future of space technologies. Those are the technologies, the categories that seem to not be investing. But in terms of scaling and fully scaled, I would say the major players in this 15 different technologies is cloud and edge computing, advanced connectivity, generative AI, and applied AI. Those are the 4 that are more in the scaling and fully scaled. So just something for y'all to look at when it comes to going into something that's more widely adopted, that's ready, versus things that are more newer or nascent, however you want to say, but they're in their kind of beginning stages, or they are not as widely known. So that means that they're going to need a different type of treatment, special treatment, whether that comes from you, the market, the industry, consumers. They need special treatment. All right, so then they have this other, and I really do like this article, so y'all definitely got to check it out. But then they have this other section here that goes into a little bit of the money, the equity investment that are being spent in these different 15 categories, as well as the percentage of job postings. So I'm going to go over them real quick. All right, it's going to be real fast, and then y'all can check it out yourselves when you actually check this article out. Starting at number 1, and then I'm going to go from 1 to 15. Starting at number 1, we have generative AI at 36 billion equity investment, 111% job posting. Applied AI, 86 billion equity investment, negative 29% job posting. Industrializing machine learning, 3 billion equity investment, negative 36% job posting. Next generation software development, 17 billion equity investment, negative 37% job posting. Digital trust and cybersecurity, 34 billion equity investment, negative 34% job posting. Advanced connectivity, 29 billion equity investment, negative 24% job posting. Immersive reality technologies, 6% billion equity investment, negative 36% job posting. Cloud and edge computing, 54 billion equity investment, negative 38% job posting. Quantum technologies, 1 billion equity investment, negative 17% job posting. Future of robotics, 6 billion equity investment, negative 20% job posting. Future of mobility, 83 billion equity investment, negative 5% job posting. Future of bioengineering, 62 billion equity investment, negative 23% job posting. Future of space technologies, 9 billion equity investment, negative 9% job posting. Electrification and renewables, 183 billion equity investment, 1% job posting. Climate technologies beyond electrification and renewables, 68 billion equity investment, negative 11% job posting. So that right there, folks, is just a little bit into some of the technology trends for you to get some insight on, do your own due diligence, things for you to be looking out for. I really did like this article from McKinsey. They have a report that's attached to this article that is 100-page. It says 100-page full report. I'm going to check it out and download it myself. I just wanted to really read the article first before I checked out the report. But the cool thing is I can check out the report and then I can put it into my own AI and have it help me even break it down even further versus me having to do all the things myself. So that's something for y'all to be looking at and stay in tune with. And that was your plug for that dope tech shit. In the late and great words of the honorable, but questionable, Jay-Z, I'm not a businessman, I'm a businessman. Let me handle my business. Damn. Why even start a business in a shitty-ass economy when people are more entitled than ever? Let's talk about it in this segment of It's Just Business.
I'm sorry. I'm really sorry for it was just business. You know, I'm a professional.
That's what everybody keeps saying. I'm just a professional. Everybody keeps saying it.
Wait, last thing. I'm also gonna need that extended warranty on it for the price of on the house.
That I can't do.
Now don't be a Negro, be my nigga. All right, help me out.
Hold on.
It was at this moment that he knew. He fucked up.
No, he don't need no help. He's already been served. I served him. He's taken care of. He's a little slow, but he got it. See, what he thought was he could come up in here and make the rules, but now he see that Jay make the rules, that I run this bitch, and now he about to bounce.
Back up! Mind your business. That's all. Just mind your business.
My goal here is not to scare you straight, but I gotta keep it real. And I wanna show you all, share with you all, that if you're going to enter into the world of entrepreneurship and business ownership, it would help or behoove you to understand why businesses fail. Because I think that we overpraise and we celebrate all the success that business can come with and the rewards. And yes, there are some of us that know some of the failure factors, but there are those of us who haven't really entered into our journey, into the market, and could use a little bit of some foreshadowing or some awareness building skills that would help us maybe avoid or prevent some of these reasons. So I'm going to share with you 6 top reasons new businesses fail that come from Investopedia. Now, I can tell you right now, y'all, I do a lot of market research. That's a part of my skill set and service provision, is making sure that I diagnose the issue and I do research to help back up my suggestions. And when it comes to reasons why businesses fail, there are plenty of them. There are definitely more than 6, all right? So we're just going to leave it right there. There are definitely more than 6. But let's just talk about 6 common ones. And I really like the way that Investopedia put this together. So I'm going to use this as a way for us to build off from. But if you guys have a different way of looking at it, hey, however you're listening to this podcast, throw it in the comments, throw it in the review. Give me your thoughts on this episode because I would love to hear it. All right, so let's just state some numbers here. I'm just going to start off with some numbers. According to the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, approximately 20% of new businesses fail during the first 2 years of being open, 45% during the first 5 years, and 65% during the first 10 years. Only 25% of new businesses make it to 15 years or more. Only 25%, y'all. And it says right here on this article, these statistics haven't changed much over time and have been fairly consistent since the 1990s. So the stats haven't changed that much over time, and they've definitely been consistent since the 1990s. You'll hear some different variations depending on what source you're getting information from, but it's pretty much all around or estimated as the same thing. Let's just Keep it all the way real right there, because everybody wants to argue stats all the time. And it's all good, but what are we really looking at? Now, here are some key takeaways from this article. And it has 6 reasons why businesses fail. And like I said, I really like these reasons. I don't like these reasons as in I want businesses to fail. I like these reasons as these are the things that help give us insight on what we could help mitigate. Some things are unavoidable. Some things can be mitigated. But it would help you to be armed with the information so you knew what to do when the time comes. The first thing is not satisfying a need, not investing in the market. You guys are creating a product or a service. You can think of it as creating a product or a service, and you think that this thing is the next best thing since sliced bread, peanut butter and jelly, and eggs and ham and Spam. Hell, you think it's better than Spam. What the fuck is better than Spam? Nothing. I'll play it around. And don't eat Spam if you don't have to. But yeah, you think is the best next thing to Spam. Shit. And you haven't done enough research into the market to figure out whether or not it's in demand. Did you make something that people even want? It's like creating a restaurant and ain't nobody hungry for your food. That's one of the biggest reasons why businesses fail. The second one is having a bad business plan. Now, here's the thing that I would say that I look at things differently these days based on how you do business or what kind of business you have, what industry you're in, what direction you want to go in. The word business plan in today's society does not have to mean this 55-page letter to Santa Claus, right? You don't have to write something huge saying all your wants and what you want and I want this and how good you were and how it's going to be. You don't have to do that. Again, unless you're in a certain position, you're in an industry, you have a business, something like that, y'all, that you know you need more information to show investors, shareholders, partners. Then a business plan is more applicable. Until then, you really just need to understand your business model. That's not talked about enough when it comes to solopreneurs, content creators, right? People with 1 or 2, maybe 3 employees, people with less than 10 employees. Do you really need a big business plan? Now, if you have a big business, that's different. Otherwise, start with the basics. Do you know your motherfucking business model? I'm just telling y'all, these are the things that I've ran into, I've seen other experts run into, and we're going to keep running into these issues in the business world as entrepreneurs because we don't think about our business model. That is our North Star. That's our North Star because we always have to come back to it in any direction that we go to. That is North, right there. The next thing is lack of financing. So basically, just not having the damn money, not having the bag, not having the moolah. You ain't got the bread. You ain't got the capital. Let me speak in more of the business terms. You don't have the funding. You ain't got that. The financing. See, oftentimes we see and glorify when we watch things like Shark Tank or what they call Dragon's Den, or we see these different shows that are investing into people, and then they say certain terminologies and they talk about, have you taken money out the business? They ask that to some of the business owners, right? Have you taken money out the business? How are you making money? And it's just so funny when I see that, man, when it comes to most people that are entrepreneurs that are making it or striving to make it, yes, you motherfucking taking money out the business. It's the business that's helping bring you income. You don't have no extra cash flow or, as they say, extra spending money, pocket money, petty cash, right? Unless you have loans, you have credit, you have funding, you are doing business to make money. So that way you can not only pay your bills, but you can pay the business bills because those are 2 different set of bills. I mean, come on. See, we don't talk about this shit. And then the industry, and then the people that are winning, not everybody, they try to lie to us.
You ain't got to lie, Craig. You ain't got to lie.
You better tell Craig he ain't got to lie. I'm just telling y'all, that's one of the biggest things I see is the whole financing and funding. Even see, that's the thing that I like about doing my own podcast and being able to speak in a more raw, straight, no chaser type of way where I can talk my shit, but I can also educate y'all on some shit because I want to be real with myself and be real with y'all. And even I have to go through certain obstacles and challenges when it comes to financing my business. This is nothing new for people who are really about that business. So you got to be careful. You could be in the game for 15 years, 10 years, 5 years, 20 years, and one day something can happen and you have to still find new ways or other ways to bring in income, finance your business. So let's just, throw the baby out with the bathwater and debunk all that extra shit when it comes to people thinking that just because you start a business or you become an entrepreneur, all of a sudden you just sitting on this cash or you got extra cash or you have other ways of surviving and thriving outside of what's actually literally coming into your business from the products you sell, from the services that you deliver, things like that. You know what I'm saying? Unless you're a nonprofit and you're getting donations, that's a little different situation, but even still, you're looking for funding and financing. So right there, that's another reason why businesses fail, is just not having enough money. Another reason why businesses fail is being at the wrong place, bad location, or bad internet presence, bad marketing. You know, if you don't have those things together, if nobody can find you, how do you think you're going to sell anything? Let's just put it like that. How are you going to sell something if they can't see nothing? So you got to have some type of presence, whether it's physical, brick and mortar, or online, but you've got to have something to show people, even if it's not the best thing. Start small, gradually grow, and get bigger, get better, allocate more funds as you grow. But just understand that is a big reason why businesses fail, y'all, is because they have a bad location. They're at the wrong place, wrong time. They don't have no internet presence. These days, you got to have a minimum of an internet presence. If you have a physical presence, you still got to have an internet presence. But if you have an internet presence, you don't have to have a physical presence. You can do business on the internet. But you got to have the internet and you got to be visible. You got to have some type of marketing. And branding helps that even more when you tie that in there. But just keeping this focused on reasons why businesses fail, again, bad location or no marketing. Another reason why businesses fail is not being flexible. So you're remaining a little too rigid. You're too stiff up the butt. Your ass is too tight. You know, sometimes you do got to be a little bit more flexible. You got to be more like Gumby, more like water. And then sometimes you got to be like stone. You got to be like metal. You got to be like rock. That is the hard part about doing business, is balancing those two out, which to be at what time. But I can tell you right now, based on this list here of the top 6 reasons, being rigid, not being flexible, that could get you into some hot water. Sometimes you have to change, you got to adapt, you got to grow. That's a big thing coming from the technology segment that we just talked about, where a lot of these technologies, they got to adapt. We have to adapt to these technologies. We got to grow. Things are moving fast. Speaking of things moving too fast, sometimes we're growing too fast. We're expanding too fast. It's almost like the opposite of scaling, where you're literally creating more business, but you can't keep up with the things you started with in the beginning. It's starting to overwhelm you. You're starting to sink. It's like quicksand. And the more that you fight it, the more you sink into it. So those are 6 reasons why you might not want to start a motherfucking business. because you're liable to fall into one of those 6. But let's just be real. I'm going to be all the way funky with it. You probably going to fall into all 6 at one point. At least 5 out of the 6, at least a minimum. Not satisfying a need, having a bad business plan, lack of financing, being at the wrong location at the wrong time, not being flexible, and expanding too rapidly. You may fall into one of those categories tomorrow when you start a business, you know what I'm saying? Or even if you're doing business right now, you probably are in 2 to 3 of those categories. Now I can say the least one that I see people being in is the rapid business expansion. That one right there, that's a very unique one. Everything else, I can see any one of us being in at any time. So I'm not here, again, to scare you straight. I want to make you aware, and I want to encourage you and inspire you to let you know that despite these statistics, sometimes you have to be the anomaly, but you also got to use probability. Don't be stupid. Don't be stupid. I'm just saying, don't be stupid and don't be sorry.
Don't be sorry, oh, be careful. Oh, gee.
Because you got to make sure that you have a sense of hope and optimism, but that's got to be small, minuscule in comparison to your practicality and your reality. Using probability, using stats to your advantage, but you can be an anomaly. You can be a rarity. You can be an exemption to the rule. But again, it's called the rule for a reason. And I'm saying this to say, after me being in about 10 years of business with my current business, because I've been doing business for more than 10 years, but with my current business, the Iconic Expressions, the whole foundation underneath everything else that I'm doing when it comes to Iconic Templates, when it comes to this podcast, Meet the Plug, when it comes to our course, Start Fresh on WordPress, the Iconic Expressions started it all about 10 years ago. And I'm not rich at all. And it says right here in the stats, 65% failed during the first 10 years. Kevin O'Leary, AKA Mr. Wonderful, would probably tell me to take my business behind the barn and shoot it. Would tell me I failed. What's taking you so long? And I would say, you're right. But there's something in me that loves my business. I love serving people. I love serving people who are deserving, not just serving anybody. I'm getting older and getting more wiser. I'm going to be honest. I'm going to be committed and dedicated. I'm going to be real. And I like to work with people that are that way with me. And so that's why I'm saying, hey, there could be a time in your career where you rather work with less people. And you have to learn how to work with that. You work with less people, then you need to be asking for more money. You work with more people, then you don't have to take as much money. You know, it just depends on what you're doing. And that's something that I've learned when it comes to a lot of my servanthood. However, when it comes to creating content, I love doing that even more because anybody and everybody can have that. And it only takes me the time of the creation and the promotion and those things. But me serving people, you know, I don't have to do that on a one-to-one when it comes to creating content. So there's ways that you can balance out your aspirations and what you want to do and what you need to do with, you know, what your outcomes are and what your expectations are and how much time you actually have in doing business. There are so many ups, but there are downs too. I just wanted to keep it straight with y'all and let y'all know that there is a possibility. I'll put it like that. There's a possibility you will make it. But based on these stats, there's a lot of information and backing that says you might not. Especially after 10 years, it says 65%. That's more than half. 45% during the first 5 years, that's less than half. You have a 50% chance of making it when you're in business for 5 years. Isn't that crazy? 50 chance of making it. After 5 years, it starts to dwindle down to 65 before the 10-year marker. 65%. After 15 years, we have 25%. That's 1/4 of people who started doing business are still in business after 15 years. That's crazy odds, y'all. So who will you be? And who will you serve? All right, that was our last segment. It's just business.
I'm sorry. I'm really sorry for it was just business. I'm a professional.
That's what everybody keeps saying. I'm just a professional. Everybody keeps saying it.
Woo! So you've made it to the end of our first motherfucking episode of Meet the Plug. I thank y'all. I appreciate y'all. It has been a pleasure. I hope that you have been entertained and been educated or edutained in this episode. This is going to be a dope podcast. I look forward to hearing from y'all. This is something that is special to me, and I hope it becomes a routine in your life and in your journey, because we're going to be in this for a long time. If you have any questions, you can email me at hello@iconictemplates.com. Again, the email is hello@iconictemplates.com. If you haven't already checked it out, we have a free course with Iconic Templates called Start Fresh on WordPress. It's a free course on YouTube. So just go to youtube.com/the@ symbol and Iconic Templates, and you should see it as a playlist. It's called Start Fresh on WordPress. I even got a hip hop theme song for the course because we do it different out here with Iconic Templates and with Meet the Plug. So I just want to plug that in there real quick, y'all. I thank you again for joining, for listening. If you have any comments, please comment wherever you hear me at. Please review the podcast. Give me something positive, but if not, give me some negative. Give me some feedback, but just give me the real. We'll be back with our next episode, and just to give you guys a little bit of that something to look forward to, I plan on creating and dropping an episode every week. So at least once a week. If it becomes too crazy, I'm gonna make it bi-weekly, but at least once a week to be staying up with y'all, so I can be staying in the end. You can be staying in the end, and none of us are left out. All right, so we're gonna wrap it up right here. But first, let me plug in that outro. Meet the plug, meet the plug, meet the plug, meet the plug.
Say another motherfucking word and this shit is over.